Have you ever heard of a city built on a lake, with floating gardens and towering pyramids, a city that was once the center of a mighty empire? This wasn't a fantasy novel. This was Tenochtitlan, the heart of the Aztec civilization. For centuries, the Aztecs have been defined by tales of sacrifice and conquest, but their story is so much deeper, richer, and more fascinating. Who were these people? What did they truly believe? And how did one of the most powerful empires in the Americas vanish in just a few short years? Today, we're journeying back in time to uncover the complete story of the Aztecs, from their mythical origins to their dramatic fall and the legacy that lives on today. Get ready to explore a world of powerful gods, brilliant engineers, and fierce warriors. Our story begins not with an empire, but with a humble tribe, the Mexica. According to their legends, they were wanderers, searching for a sign from their patron god, Huitzilopochtli. He promised them a new home, a promised land, but they would only know it when they saw an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. For over 100 years, they journeyed through deserts and mountains, facing hardship and conflict. Finally, around the year 1325, on a swampy island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, they saw it: the prophesied eagle, the cactus, and the snake. This was the sign. It was here, against all odds, on this challenging, marshy terrain, that they would build their capital, the magnificent city of Tenochtitlan. This legendary image is so powerful it's still at the center of the Mexican flag today. Building a city on a swamp is no easy task, but the Aztecs were masters of innovation. They developed an incredible system of chinampas, or floating gardens. These were artificial islands made by weaving reeds together and layering them with mud from the lake bed. These chinampas were incredibly fertile, allowing them to harvest multiple crops a year and feed a rapidly growing population. To connect their island city to the mainland, they built massive causeways wide, straight roads raised above the water. An intricate network of canals served as the city's streets, with canoes and boats being the primary mode of transportation. At its peak, Tenochtitlan was one of the largest and most sophisticated cities in the world. A bustling metropolis with a population of over 200,000 people, larger than any European city of the time. It was a marvel of urban planning and engineering. At the very heart of Tenochtitlan, and at the heart of Aztec life, was their complex and fascinating religion. The Aztecs worshipped a pantheon of gods and goddesses who governed every aspect of existence. From the rising of the sun to the growing of corn, the most important of these was Huitzilopochtli, the god of the sun and war, who had guided them to Tenochtitlan. There was also Quetzalcoatl, the Feathered Serpent, a god of wind, wisdom, and creation, and Tlaloc, the powerful god of rain and fertility, whose favor was crucial for their survival. For the Aztecs, the universe operated in cycles of creation and destruction. They believed they were living in the age of the fifth sun, and it was their sacred duty to keep the sun alive. They believed the gods had sacrificed themselves to create the world, and in turn, humanity owed them a debt. This belief in cosmic debt is central to understanding the most controversial aspect of Aztec culture: human sacrifice. To the Aztecs, this was not an act of cruelty, but a necessary ritual to nourish the gods, especially the sun god Huitzilopochtli, and ensure the survival of the universe. The hearts and blood of sacrificed individuals were considered the most precious offerings, the Chalchihuatl, or precious water that sustained the divine. Those sacrificed were often captured enemy warriors, and it was considered an honorable death, a direct journey to join the sun god in the afterlife. While it's a difficult concept for us to grasp today, for the Aztecs, it was the ultimate act of faith, a way to maintain balance in a fragile cosmos and repay the gods for their own creation. It was the engine that they believed kept the world turning. Aztec society was highly structured, like a pyramid. At the very top was the emperor, the Huitzilopochtli, or Great Speaker, who was seen as a semi-divine ruler. Below him were the nobles, priests, and high-ranking warriors who held positions of power. The largest social class was the commoners, who were farmers, artisans, and merchants. The marketplace of Tlatelolco, a sister city to Tenochtitlan, was a vibrant hub of commerce, where goods from all over the empire were traded, from brilliant feathers and jaguar pelts to cocoa beans, which were so valuable they were used as a form of currency. At the bottom of the social ladder were slaves. However, Aztec slavery was different from what we might imagine. It wasn't based on race, and slaves could own property, have families, and even buy their own freedom. It was a complex and organized society where everyone had a role to play. The Aztecs were not just builders and priests, they were formidable warriors. Their military was the engine of their empire's expansion. Through a combination of strategic alliances and relentless conquest, they created the Triple Alliance with the city-states of Texcoco and Tlacopan. Together, they came to dominate central Mexico, from the Gulf Coast to the Pacific Ocean. Conquered states were not usually absorbed directly, but were required to pay tribute to Tenochtitlan. This tribute came in the form of food, textiles, precious metals, and exotic goods, which fueled the Aztec economy and supported the Grand City. The empire was a mosaic of different cultures and peoples, all bound together by the military might and political power radiating from the capital. This constant state of warfare also provided the captives needed for their religious rituals, linking military expansion directly to their cosmic duties. In 1519, everything changed. Strange ships, described as floating mountains, appeared on the Gulf Coast. On board were Spanish conquistadors led by a man named Hernan Cortes. The Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II was unsure how to react. Was Cortes a man, or was he the returning god Quetzalcoatl, whose return was prophesied in some legends? Moctezuma chose diplomacy, welcoming the Spaniards into the magnificent city of Tenochtitlan. The Spaniards were awestruck by the city's wealth and splendor, but their awe soon turned to ambition. Tensions quickly escalated. The Spaniards, vastly outnumbered, took Moctezuma hostage, hoping to control the empire through him. This led to an uprising by the Aztec people, and the Spanish were violently driven out of the city in an event known as La Noche Triste, the Sad Night. But Cortes was not defeated. He retreated, gathered his forces, and forged alliances with rival city-states who were tired of Aztec rule and eager to see them fall. More importantly, the Europeans had brought with them an invisible, deadly weapon: disease, smallpox, to which the native population had no immunity, swept through the city, killing thousands, including the new emperor. It devastated the Aztec population and their military leadership. In Iwo-Ayi, Cortes returned and laid siege to the weakened city. For 80 brutal days, the Aztecs fought with incredible bravery, defending their home block by block. But against Spanish steel, cannons, and the ravages of disease, they stood no chance. On August 13, 1521, the last Aztec emperor Cuauhtémoc was captured, and the glorious city of Tenochtitlan fell. The Aztec Empire was no more. Though their empire fell, the Aztec spirit was not extinguished. Their legacy endures in countless ways. Mexico City, one of the world's largest cities, stands today on the ruins of Tenochtitlan, with the Zocalo, its main square, built over the Aztecs' sacred precinct. The Spanish language in Mexico is enriched with words from the Aztec language Nahuatl, like chocolate, tomato, and avocado. Their symbols, like the eagle and the snake, are at the core of Mexican national identity. The Aztecs left behind a legacy of incredible resilience, brilliant engineering, and a complex worldview that continues to fascinate and inspire us. Their story is a powerful reminder of the heights a civilization can reach and the fragility of even the mightiest empires. It's a story written in stone, in art, and in the heart of modern Mexico. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the history of the Aztec Empire. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments what part of the Aztec story surprised you the most. We'll see you in the next video.